What is going on, people, and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to discuss camper van rules. Now this is something that come up when I'm trying to sell this van. A lot of people were calling me going, is it registered as a camper van? Now if they'd have done their due diligence and done the research on it, they would understand that this could never be registered as a camper van. It just doesn't fit the criteria. And what this video is me talking about the criteria to register it as a camper van and why you probably don't want to register it as a camper van, because it will look crap once you've done it. So, camper van registration recently changed. I say recently, it changed probably a couple of years ago now, but people are still getting their head around the rules and understanding what is going on. So if you've got any new camper van that has been registered that looks like my van, then it's been registered illegally. Simple as that. You can't register them without meeting certain things, and I'm going to run through them now. Now then, fortunately for you, the DVLA has made a tick list, so you can fill this list out and you can tick off every time that you fill out one of these criteria, and you know how far you are to getting it registered as a camper van. That being said, if you do this tick list and you send it off to the DVLA, they're well within the right to just decline it, and they decline it with no reason sometimes, and there's just you can't contest it, it just happens. Some people send their vehicle in, get it accepted, and then someone might send an identical vehicle in and get it declined. It is totally wrong, but as always, the DVLA are totally unapproachable in any way. You can't really contact anyone. You send it to shared email boxes and someone might pick it up that might approve it, and someone might pick it up that might decline it. So it is a little bit of luck of the draw. However, rest assured, if you fill all these criteria points, produce a photo evidence, or it gets inspected to the point where people are satisfied with it, then you should get it converted to a camper van and not a van with windows. And generally, if it fails the camper van conversion, it will come back as a van with windows. So the form what you're going to use for this is the V1006, and that is given to you by the DVLA, and it's called the Mortar Caravan Conversion Checklist. To start off with, you're going to have to put your registration number at the top, and then you're going to go through the checklist and you're going to see some stuff that you need to put on your vehicle. And we'll start at the top. Initially, you need to include photos of the vehicle showing all this stuff, what you've ticked off. So that's at the top of the list. I think that should be at the bottom, but that's at the top of the list. Include photos of the vehicle. Of course, the photos of the vehicle has to display your registration plate. Now this is where people are maybe register them illegally, because they are putting plates on other vehicles just to get it converted, and then obviously using their vehicle that is technically a van with windows, and yeah, it's now registered as a camper van. That's why I say that the only ones that look like my van that are converted have been converted illegally. And if you were to buy a camper van that has been converted illegally, then you should probably question everything else that's been done to that van and whether you trust the work of someone that's willing to convert a van illegally. So initially, it needs seats and table. The table can be removable, like I've got in here. I've got a table just sat here, and it needs seats, it needs fixed seats. Secondly, it needs sleeping accommodation. So in my van, I've got sleeping accommodation here, downstairs. This seat turns into a bed, and I've also got sleeping accommodation upstairs. There's a double bed upstairs as well, but it is a pop top. It needs to have cooking facilities. Now in this van, I don't necessarily have cooking facilities. I can connect up cooking facilities, but there's nothing permanently installed. Take this coffee machine for example. It's not permanently installed, and I appreciate this is not a cooking facility, but it does produce hot water, which could in turn make hot food. This would not fill the criteria for the DVLA, and a picture of this would not constitute as cooking facilities. What they're looking for is a gas burning hob, or maybe an induction hob if you've got an electrical system that is capable of powering an induction hob. There needs to be a storage area. Very loose term, but yeah, you need place that you can put stuff. A van with windows has storage area, so I'm not sure why this is on the list. Maybe they have a next bit of criteria what they're going to evaluate it against in DVLA HQ. They're all sat with their tinfoil hats deciding what laws they can bring in next. But it needs to have a storage area. It needs to have 2 or more windows on at least one side of the body. Now this is caveated with the main body, so take from that what you will. What this list has done is created a whole market for people creating stuff just to get around these laws. So you can buy little tiny windows that go on the side that are just like keyhole windows that you can then see. It makes no sense that people are doing this and people have to do this, but the DVLA have made it. And then finally, you have to include a picture of your VIN or chassis number, which again, Another pointless thing introduced by the DVLA, because the VIN or chassis number you could just take of your vehicle and the rest of the pictures could be of someone else's vehicle. Now, I'm not condoning breaking these laws, I'm just exposing the ridiculous rules what the DVLA have implemented that are just so easily to be bent by the wrong people, which is only really affecting the people that want to abide by the law. Now, next on this list you have permanent external features. Now, fortunately I've got this on my phone, so you can download this on your phone, you can have it on your phone and you can tick stuff off as and when you please. So again, permanent external features, they're going to reiterate, because they love a good reiteration in a DVLA. 2 or more windows on at least one side of the main body. Does not include the windows on the driver's or passenger side doors. So they've caveated that now. It does not include windows on the driver's or passenger side doors. So you would need to get the windows in the back. Now, earlier on in this form, it didn't mention that, but now it's mentioned it. They need to provide a reasonable amount of daylight to the living accommodation. Yeah, reasonable. I'd say this is reasonable. I've got a blind down on one window now, and I've got the one window open, and this is more than reasonable, and that's one window, and they want you to have 2 on one side. So yeah, another bit of a loose law, but yeah, they need to provide reasonable light to the living accommodation. A separate door which provides access to the living accommodation. So this sliding door provides access to the living accommodation. You can't utilise the front doors for this. It has to be a separate door that comes straight into the back of the vehicle or wherever your living accommodation is situated. And a window on that door counts as a separate window to the main body. So they've just put that rule in there just to let you know that because they've not included the door windows, this separate door counts as a window to the reasonable daylight rule what they've implemented. Here's one that I love. Mortar Caravan styling graphics on the side of the vehicle. So I saw a statement about this quite some time ago, because when these rules first came out, a lot of people were very, very upset. You know, you've got full campervan industries that are now, well, they can't convert the campervans what they've been building because they are not abiding by the law. So the reason for the Mortar Caravan graphics is so that police can accurately identify that it is a Mortar Caravan. So for example, if they are looking for a Mortar Caravan, they can see the graphics on the side that tells them it's a Mortar Caravan. Now, it's another crazy one. What do you define as Mortar Caravan graphics? I mean, what do you want on the side of it? Live, laugh, love, you know, see the world. Land Rover love a good vinyl graphics about stuff like that, and One Life, Live It. You know, it's mental. But yeah, you've got to have Mortar Caravan style graphics. Don't know who dictates what a Mortar Caravan style graphics is. However, there's lots of sellers on eBay now that are just producing easy peel Mortar Caravan style graphics, so you can tarnish your beautiful van with these awful graphics, but they're easy peel off. So you can take the pictures and you can take them off. And again, I'm not condoning breaking the rules, but that is how people are getting around these that don't want to have awful graphics with compasses and swirly lines over the vehicle, and they want just a clean looking vehicle, like I did with this build. I didn't want it to look crazy like that. I wanted it to be subtle. It has to have an awning bar attached to either side of the vehicle. Now, the way I read this is it doesn't have to have a physical awning. You don't have to have it on display, but you have to have the bar that receives the awning. Now, if you did have an awning, I would definitely include that in your pictures, just to avoid anyone getting a bit funny with it and just declining it. But they've said just an awning bar, so to me that is the bit what clips onto that vehicle, and the awning doesn't have to be on there. Now here's the last one, that when they first brought out these rules, they didn't speculate this, and there was a lot of people slipping through the net that maybe shouldn't have slipped through the net, and then some people were accepting, some people were declining. It needs to have a high top roof, and this does not include a pop top, which in my eyes is mental. What dictates a high top roof? How high must it be in relation to the original van? There's no rules on it. There's no like hard and fast rule that it has to be 1/3 of the van higher or 1/4 of the van higher. Some pop tops are pretty much high tops. Some of the cheaper pop tops, they might raise it by like 8 inches, and they are crazy ugly. I went for the low profile pop top from Stealth Lowlife, and there's no way that this would pass as a high top, and it definitely isn't. It's a pop top. So to get the rule, and this is why no one's doing it anymore, is you need to basically stick an upside down board on the top of your vehicle that ruins it to get it converted to a camper van. Now, appreciate for some people, certainly people that are not in the VW scene, then you just want a utilised vehicle. So a high top might be good for you, and you might think this is a real good idea because now I can stand up in the van. And it is, in principle, a really good idea to have a high top. But for a lot of the VW scene, it's about the way it looks, and that is it. You want to build a van that looks great, and these high tops are ugly. And I cannot understand someone spending so much on a van when they could have got a Vivaro or a Transit and done the same to it to make it into a utilised vehicle. Because between me and you, one of the biggest selling points for a Transporter is simply the way it looks. So if you don't like the way it looks, then it's probably not the van for you. And if you're going to buy it and start sticking cheap crap all over it, then yeah, why? Why do that to yourself? You're just wasting money. You can stick cheap crap on a £5 van. You don't have to spend 15 grand on a 2010 van to stick chrome door handles on it, or a ridiculously cheap pop top that's made out of unfunctional fiberglass. And then finally, as a caption to all of this, you then need to sign to say that all the pictures and evidence you have provided are of your own van. You're not using it from anyone else's videos, anyone else's pictures, anyone else's stuff. And it is of your own van, and you're declaring to say that everything's accurate, and if you're wrong, then you'll be subject to get charged. Now this form is called a mortar caravan conversion checklist, but they can return it in so many formats. You can get a van with windows, you can get it categorised as a Luton van, minibus, all sorts of stuff, whatever they deem necessary at the time. I know that if I sent this off to get categorised, it would simply be categorised as a van with windows. And lots of other people have sent this form off with intention of it becoming a mortar caravan, and it just gets categorised as a van with windows, so they've not been very happy. Now the reason people want to make these conversions is because it can quite often mean that you can go 10 miles per hour faster legally in a mortar caravan than you can do with a van. Now the reason for this is that because on dual carriageways in a van you should only be going 60, but in the mortar caravan you can go 70. And single carriageways, again, you should only be going 50 in a commercial vehicle, which is what this identifies as, I guess. That being said, people have had speeding tickets in the past that have a van with windows that is evidently a campervan, like I'm sat in here now. This is not a van, it's got a bloody coffee machine for it. Like, this is not a van, it's got a kitchen worktop, it's got a bed. People have had speeding fines, and they've sent off a justification that it is technically not a van with windows and it is a camper van, and they do use it to sleep, and they've got away with a fine. So all hope is not lost. I wouldn't say go out speeding on that premises, because again it's probably all case by case basis, but just be aware that if you do have a van with windows, you are subject to different speed limits than what you would do if you had a motor caravan. But one thing that might be very nice around this little rule thing, what they brought in, is that they can, quite often they're banning motor caravans staying overnight. So if you have a van with windows and you want to stop overnight somewhere that doesn't allow motor caravans, yes, you're probably going to get a ticket, because anyone with a brain can see that you're sleeping in your van, and it's basically a camper van. But I guess if you were to contest that and send your V5C off that says it's not a motor caravan, and it is a van with windows, then, and they've got a sign up saying no motor caravans, then there's your way out. So there's a little silver lining to this cloud of bullshit what DVLA have just put out about motor caravans. If you have any more information with regards to that or personal experience, then please do let me know in the comments below, and I'll be interested to know, and I'm sure that there's people watching this video that would love to know your experiences as well. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment and share, and you can maybe check out my other videos. I did a full build on this van, and I am a qualified electrician, so if you are interested in electrical installation videos, I've done lots and lots and lots of them with the build of this van. So if you're about to venture into building your own van, please do check those out. I'll catch you guys in the next video.